Thank you so much for coming out. I appreciate you. Give it up for yourselves one time. And everybody else that you saw. This has been amazing. I'm so thankful that all of you came through. This is, okay. This might only bother me, but did anybody else here see the trailer for the new Home Alone movie? Did anyone else even know that another Home Alone was coming out? This movie about to bomb. All right, so all you need to know is that they're making a Home Alone reboot, right? It's just another Home Alone. That's it. It's just another one. It's the same script. It's just different actors, all right? But it actually did, I'm not gonna lie, maybe go back and watch Home Alone like the original, like from when I was little, Macaulay. You know, and I watched it, and honestly, what a rich problem. Like, first of all, the kid wakes up in the biggest house I've ever seen in my entire life, and no one addresses it. Like, I grew up poor. I would have known I was home alone immediately. I would have looked to my left and looked to my right and been like, ain't nobody in here. In every movie, no matter who it is, no matter which kid, no matter which movie, the kid wakes up and goes on an MTV Cribs tour of his own house. There's an attic, there's a basement, multiple bands, you see yelling, there's an echo. I've never lived anywhere with an echo. And then every movie, they can afford a $12 million house, but they can't afford to come get. Every movie, they're like, oh no, he over there. Like, if that movie was a black family, it would just be called We Don't Love You. What an insane premise for a film, you know? Because also, I'll say it, it needs to be said. The Home Alone kid is low-key a serial killer, and no one ever addresses it. We let it slide. Okay, let's say you're 11, right? You're 11. You're 11 years old. You're 11. Again, you're 11. You're a child. You're 11. I know if I'm 11 and two grown men break into my house, I'm hiding under the bed. It's not a foolproof plan, but it's what you do because you're a kid. You don't rig up a nail gun. Like a lunatic. I'm traveling a lot now that comedy is back and everything. I've been flying a lot again, and wow. Like, I don't know if anybody else read this story, but apparently they've been having a bunch of like ghost flights to let pilots practice that were furloughed during the pandemic. What? Right? It's like that. It's like no one but the pilot. It's just a pilot in the plane by himself flying. No, like that's. How is this okay? Like, you would think once you know how to fly, you know how to fly. The idea that there's a pilot that's like, I'm about to take off, I'm a little rusty on landing, so y'all gonna have to bear with me. Okay? No! It's also, I was on a flight to Phoenix, right? And on the flight to Phoenix, this is insane. I get on, and look, I don't know about anybody else, but when I board a flight, the only thing I care about in the entire world is making sure that the letter and number on my boarding pass match the seat that I sit in. That's all I want, you know? That's because you don't want to be that guy where it's like you're supposed to be an A24, you're an F24, now you got to get up and then get around, and now you're at the back of the plane too, so everybody knows it's your fault. Like, now we can't go to Cancun because you can't read, you know? So you gotta step over people like, I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm so stupid. I'm the dumbest one on the plane. Can you forgive me? Like that whole, I don't want to have that happen. So I just want to make sure that the thing in my hand matches the seat that I sit in, right? So I'm focused. I'm walking on the plane, dialed in, right? And you never look behind you when you're boarding a flight. But when I got on this flight, I heard a noise behind me that was so weird that I had to look. And so as I'm walking, I turned around, and what I saw and heard in the cockpit was the captain crying. I don't want to go. Like, nah. You can't just put me in the air with him. Who hurt him? All right, are they here? Are they boarding? Can we reconcile them like the end of a rom-com or something? Because I'm not getting in the air. The last thing you want is to be 10,000 feet in the air, and the guy driving is like, what's the point? Like, that's unacceptable. I used to be afraid of like dying young, you know? And then like as I got older, I got a little bit older and I was like scared of dying old. And I don't think I'm scared of either of those now. I think I'm scared of dying middle-aged. Because here's the thing, when you die young, it's very tragic, because people are like, wow, he had his whole life ahead of him. You know, which obviously not, but like, that's what people say. And then if you die old, you know, people think that's not sad. That's actually incredibly sad. Because now you've lived long enough to have a long, beautiful life, make a lot of friends, have a big family with like grandkids and great grandkids that are going to miss you. Nobody misses you like they miss like a matriarch or patriarch of a family, you know? But when you die middle age, people are like, that's sad. You know, he had some of his life ahead of him. Right? I'm not saying people don't get sad, but they get sad the way a kid gets sad when he dropped his ice cream, but he only had 2 bites left anyway. It's like, all right, we're not gonna entertain you crying about this too much. That's not really what we're doing. This is like one of my favorite things. It always hurts my feelings, but it's very funny. Especially, I obviously look young to white people, but like even black people are like, oh, you look, how old are you? And then sometimes they'll come up to me and they'll be like, man, you doing good. You out here, you know, you wrote for Tonight Show, you writing on daily, you out here touring. That's great. And you a young man too. What, you 24, 25? And I'm like, I'm 31. And then they're like, you still doing good? Like, you still, like, out here, like, I'm sure you where you supposed to be, I guess. Like, you still do your thing, young blood. I mean. I was hanging out with a friend in Louisiana, right? And as we were hanging out in Louisiana, I went over to his place and we just did some throwback stuff, like played Nintendo Wii. I was like whooping them. Yeah, it was amazing, right? And then we went to go get food, and we went to go get food like midnight because we had been playing for like 4 hours and just having a great time catching up. I hadn't seen him in so long, right? And so then we pick up the food. We're driving what I think is back to his place, and then he tells me, he's like, "Hey, I actually have a date tonight." And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to, I just thought we could hang out. And he was like, no, it's okay. It's actually why I wanted to hang out, because I want you to come with me because she wants to meet at the park. And I was like, your date? Where'd you meet? He's like, I met her online. I was like, oh, okay, your date from online wants to meet at the park at night. That's a robbery. That's not a date. That's not a date. That's not you. The fact that you even had the idea to bring me means you know deep down this is a horrible idea. This doesn't make any sense. As men, I don't understand. Like, it's wild that most of us are still alive because we will risk it all for a date. Like, it's like, all right, that's probably just a murder, but also it could be a good time. Like, that's insane that he even thought to bring me. And so then he takes me on what I can only describe as a kidnapping because I tell him I don't want to go to the park, but we just keep driving to the park. And so now we're at the park, and in my head, I'm like, I'm not gonna get out of the car. I'm just not gonna get out. But then I thought, like, if I don't get out of the car, and let's say something happens to him, as a black dude, especially a black dude in America, anything untoward, anything potentially illegal, anything potentially horrific, you have to factor in what the Netflix doc of you in jail might look like. I was just imagining white women watching it like, why didn't he get out the car? Like, did he have something to do with it? You know? So then I get out of the car and I walk with them to like the middle of the park where they're supposed to meet, right? And from far away, I can see 5 figures. And I was like, this is what I thought it is. This is insane. This is terrible. We're still walking towards it. I'm like, why am I using my feet to walk next to him to get to the thing? Like, it felt like the movie Us in real life. I was like, I couldn't make out them but I knew it was dangerous. And then we get there and it's her. It's just her. It's like, it's not catfish, it's not robbery, it's just her. But then she brought 4 of her friends because she was also uncomfortable meeting at the park at night. To the point I was like, whose idea was that? Like, meet at a bar like a normal person. Like, why are y'all both bringing backup? This is insane. So then they're so happy that each other is each other that they just walk off and they leave me with her 4 friends. And so now I'm just standing, there's just 5 of us in the park. And then one of them just looks at me and breaks the silence like, you want to slide? I was like, nah, I'm good. And then they all just take turns on the slide. But we're all grown people. So I'm not a big man, but they were all huge. They were all big. So one of them was on the monkey bars, also on the ground. He was just walking, grabbing monkey bars. And then they were sliding, and then they started swinging. It was 4 of them, so 2 of them could push 2 of them. It looked like they were having fun. But then they walk up to me like, you want to swing? And it was the first time that I wish somebody meant punch me in the face. Like, it was like, I don't want to be here at all. I was like, no, I don't want to swing. He's like, why are you scared to swing? I was like, I'm not scared. I just don't want to do it. And so then they went over, they were just pushing each other, and I could hear them laughing at me. And I didn't have anywhere to sit. I just stood there. And so 10 minutes later, I'm on the swing. Like, they bullied me into swinging. And so now I'm on the swing. And do you remember when you would swing when you were little? Your friend pushed your back, right? Your back. Okay, so this dude pushing me, he's so big, but he only pushing me by the hip. So he's just grabbing hip every time I come in. And he grabbing it and then pushing me hard. So he's strong. But then I also forgot to mention, so I'm flying into the air, but when I come back down, he is like catching me hip first. And then he's standing behind me, so I'm just landing in his lap. Like, he low-key humping me out every time he's like, and then I'm flying up, but he asking me about myself. He's like, so what you do for a living? And he's also saying, I forgot to mention that. He's also like making a noise every time he pushed me. I was like, this isn't even my date. Just go to a bar like normal people. Y'all, thank you so much for coming out.